How many years do you want to stick a needle in your arm? How many years do you want to try to potentially compromise your health through these constant donations? And something that I find when it comes to debt freedom, you've got to build that debt plan, that get out of debt plan. It must be built on something that you can sustain. So it doesn't pass me by, I would like to thank my viewers for supporting this channel with watching the 1-minute YouTube short I did on Monday this week about service at McDonald's for the 80s, 90s, and today. As of today, this Thursday evening, it hit 3,000 views. It is the most successful YouTube short this little channel has had in the 4 years I've been on YouTube. And I just want to say a sincere thanks to those of you that watched, liked, supported it. Thank you so much. Also, for my viewers, my bifocals came in, so I can now do live streaming with you, and I don't have to do all the glass changing and stuff. I can now see. So anyways, I appreciate your patience on that. All right, so for today's 10 minutes chat, we're going to talk about donating plasma and why I think you should not do it as a way to earn money. And our 10 minutes starts now. All right, so about 2-3 months back, I had a conversation with an acquaintance of mine, and she works at a plasma donation center. And she was talking about, the risks that come with donating plasma. Now, I am not a medical doctor, and I am not in any way here to tell you whether you should or should not donate, all right? I'm just going to look at it not so much from a medical sense because I am not qualified, but I do believe I am qualified to look at it from a budget sense, a consumer debt sort of angle, okay? But just really quickly, for those who may not know, in general, I'm putting this in real lay people terms because I'm not a medical doctor, okay? Plasma, it's inside your blood. It has a needle that is huge, all right? Definitely not like your regular, blood donation needle, but the needle is quite large. You can sit for, I've heard, anywhere from 3 hours or so in a chair with this needle inside your arm as it sifts the plasma out of your blood. And then that plasma is used to help other patients like hemophiliacs and stuff. It's important that you understand that plasma is a big business, not just, here in the United States, but it's an international business. All right. So that's basically what plasma donation is, right? That's the most I want to get into it as far as medical. Okay. But I want to look at it from a consumer debt or trying to get out of debt standpoint and why I really don't believe you should do it. So I had this conversation with a friend of mine that works at these centers. And I said to her, because we're close enough that we could have kind of a frank conversation. I said, what sort of people, come in? Not that I'm thinking of them as aliens or anything like that. I think we understand that. But what type of person, would come, who would be the normal customer client at a plasma donation? Well, as we can all imagine, many of them are poor. And even if they're not poor in the terms of, U.S. tax code poor, okay, they are oftentimes clearly people who are short on money and they need money now. Not yesterday, but now. They may need it to, pay an immediate electric bill to keep the electric from turning off, even for things like putting gas in their car because they can't get to work in the morning. And for those who may not be familiar with the dollars from plasma donation, and I have done my own research. I've also watched a number of videos on plasma donation. People can make easily in the hundreds to 1,000, if not more, donating plasma. And the money is immediate. It's like you get paid, you get the needle in the arm, you sit in a chair for 3, hours or so, and then you immediately get paid on, I think it's like a debit card, okay? There are plasma donation centers here in Tampa all around me. And she said people will come in and they can come in up to twice a week approximately. Now, from a money standpoint, with my 2 bankruptcies and my history of debt, at one point I had considered donating plasma. And I hate to say it, but it's not even like the point of, decades ago I'd considered it in my 20s, in my 30s when my bankruptcies just seemed to be rolling, all over the place. But I'd actually considered donating as a way to get out of debt living here in Florida. Okay, like I'm talking in the last, say, maybe 5 years, I had actually considered it, donating plasma as a way to get out of debt. But alongside with the slight fear of needles, all right, which certainly is bothersome to many of us, there was an even bigger reason why I didn't think plasma donation was the way to go. I don't think you should create a budget for yourself to get debt-free or to maintain debt, okay, by doing something that you could not do for years on end, okay, without it hurting you physically, emotionally, okay? The problem with plasma donation is if you don't meet, the medical requirements that they have, and they say they do tests each week. Like I said, I don't want to get deep into the medical part of it, but you have to qualify each week to be able to donate plasma. Okay, they check you medically, but what happens if your iron count or whatever is too low? Okay, and you can't donate that week. How are you going to make money? Something that I think, being a connoisseur of YouTube and watching things called mukbangs is where people who are incredibly overweight as a fetish, okay, to fulfill the fetish of people who like to see people eat. Mukbangs are channels, and I'm not going to name them because that's not necessary, okay, are channels where people eat and eat and eat. They gorge themselves to 400, 500, 600 pounds, and this is how they make their money, okay? By fulfilling somebody's fetish of eating. Well, this is unhealthy. And what happens when you decide that you don't want to live your life like that anymore? Well, to me, plasma donation is kind of the same thing. How many years do you want to stick a needle in your arm? How many years do you want to try to potentially compromise your health through these constant donations? And something that I find when it comes to debt freedom, you've got to build that debt plan, that get out of debt plan. It must be built on something that you can sustain. You can sustain it physically long term. It's not going to hurt your health. It's not going to make you cringe and go, oh my goodness, I can't handle this. It's not going to cause you to miss time from work. Something that my friend told me about plasma donation, and that actually got me to go, no, I absolutely refuse to do it, is she said it can take people a couple days to recover, all depending upon how you respond to the plasma donation. So in other words, her advice to me was, well, Carrie, if you ever try it, she said, I would, make sure first you have to eat darn near perfectly the day before, lots of hydration, not too much of this, not too much of that. Then you go in for the plasma, and then you may take a couple days to recover. Well, this can compromise the main job you have, because this little part-time job you have donating plasma makes you sick, makes you tired, makes you nauseous. When I had actually considered donating plasma as a way to get out of debt, and like I said, it was in the last 5 years, I had seriously considered it. Like, I know where the plasma clinics are. Really, what kept me from doing it was I asked myself, Carrie, could you do this for years and years? Because, see, so oftentimes we will take an extreme measure like we're going to donate plasma and we're going to only do this once. We're not going to do it again. And that was something she and I discussed, okay? And like I said, she works at a plasma clinic. She goes, the number of people that go, they're just going to do this once or twice to pay this bill or to get out of this debt. But guess what happens? It starts becoming a part of your everyday budget to the point that you cannot live without it. In other words, getting a needle up the arm constantly now becomes a part of your budget. What happens when you're told you can't have a needle up your arm that week because your blood count or whatever is off? Well, now what are you going to do? I think you're better off spending your time trying to get out of debt, trying to save money, trying to make more money, okay? Whatever it is you're trying to do financially, I think you are better off doing something that you could do for years. It doesn't hurt you physically. It doesn't compromise your immune system. It doesn't compromise your health, your blood count, your iron count, whatever. I have, as most people know that have followed my channel, I have about a 8 to 10 hour week little childcare job I do at the end of school. All right. I'm very, very fortunate to have this position. Okay. I can do this for years. I've done it for something like 3 years already. I can do that. If somebody said, could you handle a little part-time 10-hour week job for years and years? It doesn't physically hurt me. It doesn't compromise my health, my immune system, or anything else. Absolutely. So on my debt journey, I have built myself doing this little part-time childcare job. Now, I want you to imagine I had built it donating plasma. I'm supposed to donate plasma every single month, 2 times a week, 8 needles up the arm. And I'm supposed to do this for years and years. And just like, we hear people say, well, I'm only going to do this extreme measure to make money. All right. And I'm just going to do it for a while till I pay off this bill. But before you know it, you find that it actually becomes your way of life. You can't live without that. So just like mukbang channels where people eat and eat, and that's how they make money, okay, and they're going to lose all that money if they stop eating on camera, and it's slowly killing them, I really want you to think twice. I really want you to think twice before you do something like donate plasma, where you swear, I'm only going to do it just a couple of times to pay this one bill, and then you find out after a while you can't live without that income stream. Just something to think about. My 10 minutes is up. Good night, everyone. Thank you for listening.
Welcome to McDonald's. Can I help you? You'd like a Big Mac, a French fry, and a Coke, all right? Can I supersize that for you? Wonderful. That will be $6.99. Stay right where you're at. I'll have your order to you in about 90 seconds. Take your order. All right, Big Mac, French fry, Coke. You want to supersize that? I'm supposed to ask you that. You do? Okay, well, that'll be $10. All right, here's your ticket. Go ahead and stand in the back of the line, and we'll get it out to you in a few minutes. You need something? You want to order? Well, there's nobody working the counter here, so you got to use that kiosk behind you. You don't know how to use it? Well, I'm running drive-through and cleaning, so just go ahead and go through the drive-through. You can't because you walked? Well, don't get hit when you walk through the drive-through.